Okay. We're just gonna hop right in. Hi. You got first. You got first. It is so cute, right? I love it. I love it. This is the cutest thing ever. Okay. I don't know if we're going to... Where am I going? This way. I don't know if we're going to be able to beat this guy. But we're gonna try. Okay. Can I get off here? No. I like don't want to fight this stupid toad. The toad is what got me killed last time. Hi. How are you? We're just gonna drop and hope for the best. We're just gonna drop over here. No, I'm totally gonna die. There's no way. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I don't know how to do this. Do I need better gear? Um, Good morning. Good limbo time, everyone. Limbo time. Oh, because we're in limbo. The 4 a.m. limbo. Like, do I need better gear? Is this the problem? The 4 a.m. limbo. Either that or something that hits harder. I don't know. I just got this staff. But I feel like I'm not going to be able to do it because they just hit me so hard. They hit me so hard. I could also work on my daily stuff. I have, like, my levels. Ooh, trials. Why is it average item of 90? High level dungeons. Oh, I can summon my chocobo. I could. I don't know how much my chocobo will do in damage. You sleep on the other enemies. I could do that too. I could. Hmm. Okay. Should we take a break and try to do high-level dungeons and stuff? I can do my leveling and then high-level dungeons. What level gear do you have? Sorry, I'm on mobile, so I can't see. I'd say you could always check. What's MB? It says my item level. Market board. I guess I could do that. How do I check the market board? Is that with my like person in my in room? I've never actually looked at the market board before. But like it says my item level 9. Oh well, my earrings are item level 17, which is shitty. I'm pretty sure you check the market board through the inn. Okay, we're gonna do that. So you go to one of the big cities, there's one in Ulda, and pick on it until bring up the menu to go through everything. What? Um, if I go to my left. I'm trying to see if I can see. Sapphire Avenue Exchange. No, you're okay. I just like don't know what I'm doing. There's Ruby Road Exchange. You mean that? Sapphire Avenue Exchange. Oh, this. Okay. Where's the stupid... Yeah. I don't know if there was one closer, but... Sapphire Avenue Exchange. Oh, this market board thing right here. Okay. So I would look for... Is there no black mage or is it the thaumaturge one? These markets are a venue in which players can from across the realm can sell. Okay. Um. So I could probably do this one. Hi. Is this one's level? I mean, I guess you can do that one too. With poetics. Okay. Should I just pick the top one? Or should I pick like the blue or the green one? Does it matter, you think? Oh, the blue one, there's none. But there's somebody selling the ebony staff. How do I check that? Um, Control C. I am well. I had food. It's the red one. Oh, this one? 827. Um, Two foods suggested to me and both were amazing. Ooh, what foods were they? What foods were they? Oh my god, this music is killing me. Okay, let's see. So these are, how do I check what I can buy with the poetic? Sorry, this is like my first time ever buying anything that is buying anything ever. Okay, so should I not buy anything from the market board then? Should I go check that first? Yeah, okay. Leave it and then go left. Where? You lost me. Where is there an NPC? There's multiple NPCs. There's this one, there's that one. This guy just sells clothes. Okay, sorry. I'm getting lost. You lost me. I'm gonna search it. I'm just gonna Google it real quick. Oh, I see. Okay. My God, there's a fly. It's driving me nuts. Why doesn't this explain where it is? My computer is going slow right now. Oh, hi. Are you showing me? Oh, right here. Oh my God. Oh my God. I see. Um, Ironworks. Okay. So should I get the rod? The Magitech rod? It's item level 130. And I have enough for it. I have to be level 50. I mean, my gear is not that bad. My gear is level 90, but my like weapon is only item level 70. So that's what I kind of wanted to get a better one. But like all my gear is like not horrible, I guess. Okay. So we're gonna get the rod. Okay. Cool. If you have the tombstone gear for each 10 levels, you're more than fine unless you're doing endgame stuff. The tombstone gear. Yeah. Yeah, because I can't afford anything else. Okay. I think my gear's fine. Now do we think we can kill it? Yeah, that 130 gear can last you to 60 for sure. Okay. Okay. All right, we're gonna try again, I guess, and see what happens. And see what happens. We're gonna try to put the other ones to sleep first. I have to figure out where my sleep thing is. I think it's here. No. Don't ever use it. Don't ever use it. Here it is. Okay. Okay, we're gonna try this again and see what happens. I just need this frog to leave me alone. Okay. Put you to sleep. Put you to sleep. Okay, maybe we can do this. They just hit so hard. I can summon the chocobo. I forgot how to do that, though. Oh, I don't have that. Okay. Okay. Let me heal up a little bit before I go up to him. That was better. Nice. Where I have to fight him. Okay. If I have to fight him. I don't know. Okay. Remarkable, truly remarkable. I thank you for granting me the indulgence. None save she who bested La Habre could endure such an explanation. Becking the chocobo for healer first really helps DPS classes as well. Ooh, okay. I forgot that the chocobo can be a healer too. Have the laws of man grown so twisted in my absence that it is now permitted to lay hands upon an emissary? You bore witness to my audience with the antecedent, did you not? Then you know I acted only in self-defense. I realize the same cannot be said of La Habre. Even amongst his brethren, he is considered unique. Nevertheless, I cannot wholly condemn his misdeeds. For through them we discovered you, one so strong in the gift that she could cast us out. Your mother favors you still. That much is plain. But surely you must feel it. Her influence wanes, and her strength shall soon be spent. These lands, these people, this world, all shall soon change. As it was, so shall it be again, as it should have always been. Doubt my claims and question my motives if you will. Only believe me when I say this. I am Elidibus. That is not how you pronounce that, probably. Emissary, bearer of the world of the one true God, and we shall meet again. Okay. At least I didn't have to Elidibus. 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 Okay, honestly, hold on. We're changing the music up because I can't with it right now. Elidibus. I want like lo-fi music. Let's see. I want like lo-fi or something. I want something without words. Okay. Thank the gods you've returned, Elowen, and after you left, I began to worry that I might have sent you to your doom. I take our visitor proved elusive? Beg pardon, he was waiting for you? What did you do? What did he say? As it was, so shall it be again. Of when does he speak? Of what exactly? The words of the Elidibus portend much, but reveal nothing, save perhaps a measure of disdain for Lahabre. I had hoped for answers, but it seems I shall have to be content with a wealth of additional questions. Let us set aside the matter of this Asian until after we have completed our moving to the Rising Stones. There is but one final favor I would ask of you before I depart. I believe I mentioned before that my father was a member of the Ala Mhigan resistance. The truth, however, is more complicated than that. As far as the Empire knew, he was their spy. He maintained the deception for the nigh on half a decade, furnishing the resistance with the vital imperial secrets while feeding his playmasters subtly conceived misinformation. When he died some 15 years ago, my father left behind his journal, which I have closely guarded ever since. It contained every shred of information he and his agents could steal on what they believed to be the single greatest threat to Eorzea, the primals. Its wisdom has guided me through the years. Though there is much within I still don't understand. It is my hope that your anger will fare better. Tell him to treat it with care. It is all I have left of my father. Lahabrea? Oh, is that how you pronounce that? Does anyone know of any idea what language or old world speak inspired the names they use in this game? Tell him to treat it with care. It is all I have left of my father. Okay, I already read that. Lahabrea. Okay. I hate talking to this man. I thought thee departed. To what end dost thou linger? Like, why can't he speak normal? Everyone else speaks pretty normal, and then I speak to him, and he's like, thou art blah, 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 blah. The father's final request, the daughter's lifelong labor. It is no small thing to surrender such a cherished memento. Well, can I imagine the antecedent's pain? Upon mine honor, I swear to spare no effort in the study of these materials, lest my lady's sacrifice be in vain. Elwyn, this is Minfilia. Minfilia, you're literally in the other room. You can't wait? Forgive me, but I could wait no longer. I have departed for the Rising Stones. If you have yet... She left me? That's so rude. If you have yet to, once you have given the journal to Yarianger, I bid you come to the seventh heaven in Revenant's Toll. Tatra will be there to show you inside our new headquarters. Assuming you have already attuned to it, you may wish to make use of our new Aetherite in Revenant's Toll. After all, it is right in our doorstep. The level of impatience is crazy. She left me, bruh. Okay, I'm not gonna pick up that quest right now. She left me. How rude. She was like, bye. Had to go. Pretty. They have pretty wings. Okay. Oh, Elwyn, you're here. Good, good. We were all wondering when you'd show up. As I was telling your receptionist here, I'm pleased to inform you that all documents have been prepared and all signatures signed. The Rising Stones is officially yours. Yes! Splendid. Oh my god, I need to sneeze. Choo! Ah! Oh my god. Splendid. From this day forward, I will spare no effort in seeing that it is as welcoming and comfortable a home for us as the Waking Sands ever was. Thank you. That said, this is all somewhat intimidating, is it not? So many unfamiliar places and unfamiliar faces. Revenant's Toll is populated mostly by adventurers, which means, as you might expect, there is quite a bit of coming and going. Emphasis on the coming, at least of late. What with the investigation of the Crystal Tower hitting full stride, I've lost track of how many fortune seekers and scholars have shown up in the last few days alone, hoping to unearth ancient secrets. I suppose the tower has piqued your interest as well? You've already offered your aid to the effort, you say? You certainly move quickly, my friend. If I weren't otherwise occupied with my duties, I'd have half a mind to join you. Alas, I'll have to settle for hearing the tales of all you've seen upon your return. Be safe in there, yes? I'm so cute! Okay. Why, that's wonderful to hear. Rest assured that this receptionist will work just as hard to see that the efforts do not skip a beat despite the relocation. And with that, Elwyn, I do believe it's time you officially announce your presence to everyone inside. The Anti-Senate and the others will surely be overjoyed to see you. In order to progress in the main scenario, you must first complete certain quests in the Crystal Tower series. While you are granted a respite with your duties as a scion, use your time to probe the depths of the Crystal Tower and see what ancient secrets may be gleaned. Okay. Whoa, there's so many blue quests in here. Okay. Whoa, it's big in here. Nice. Okay. We're here. We've arrived. Well, it is certainly spacious. It is. It's so big. Today marks a new beginning for the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. For today, we declare our independence. The little monocle. He shall henceforth be beholden to no nation, and serve all Eorzea's people proudly and openly. But this does not mean that we will sever our ties to the Eorzean alliance. On the contrary, the Anti-Senate and I shall endeavor to strengthen them. Rest assured, however, that we shall not permit political considerations to influence our decisions. Our identity remains unchanged, as does our cause. We are the Signs of Seven Dawn, and our single purpose is to safeguard the future of Eorzea. For Eorzea! A moment of your time, Elwyn. I must speak of Elidibus. Not this man! Pardon the intrusion, my lady, but the matter which bringeth me will admit no delay. Mine every attempt to contact the students of Baldizin hath been met with silence. No one will respond? How odd, allow me to try. Is the best Scion? I cannot stand the way he speaks. No response. Surely they would not ignore us. They have never yet, my lady. I fear we must assume the worst. No, I will not believe it. An outpost perhaps, but not their headquarters. When I first played the MSQ, I thought I knew English until I'm... For real! For real. He speaks to me and I'm like, I don't know what you said to me. Like, at all. Their words are beyond circumvention. Have they come under attack, they most certainly have raised the alarm. None could penetrate their sanctum unnoticed. But those who lack the gift and the knowledge both, oh no. Contact their agents in the field at once. If aught have befallen the students of Baldizin, they may know of it. Though the thought of it pains me, until such time as we have evidence to the contrary, we can but assume the worst. Accordingly, we must needs seek another source of information on Elidibus. 'Tis possible that others in the homeland are possessed of such knowledge. Be fairly warned, however. They are unlike to yield it unconditionally. Do what you must. I don't know why he has an accent, but he has an accent to me. Yet another unforeseen and unwelcome development. You will grow to like him, though. Will I? Okay. Beldizion, I don't know. I'm gonna pronounce everything wrong, okay? What could be next, I wonder? A visit from the crimson-clad Asian, perhaps? Asian. Is it Asian? Because it can't be Asian. So it's definitely like Asian. Perhaps. Or... Asian. Okay. Well, I was wrong. Thank you. Which of our allies will then fall silent? For a time, I thought we had gained the upper hand. When you shattered the crystal of darkness and cast out La Habrea, I dared to hope that we had found a way to rid ourselves of the Asian menace. But I was wrong. He endures and may yet return. Upon that point, I have no doubt that Elidibus spoke true. Yet there must be a way to destroy them utterly, a way to spare this world their unholy... something. Nailed it. I nailed it. I dare not consider the alternative. There are forces at work we do not understand, Elwyn. I discern them all around, and disturbance is too great and too numerous to be dismissed as mere coincidence. Doubtless the Paragons are involved, but how and to what end is far from clear. I know not what will come, but I do know what we will rise and meet it as one. That is not what she said. I just read that so wrong. Ah, my stalwart hero, your face is a picture of resolve. I know that you will be ready when the time comes. With luck, however, that will not be for a while yet. Pray return to your private affairs with my blessing. Should anything arise, you will be informed. Trial. Where are you? Krilly? Kryl? Who knows? Kryly. I don't know. Okay. Your intercession was not foretold. You object? We question. Our plans are in motion. Your intentions unclear. They survived a 7 Ardor and are stronger now in the gift. Does that not intrigue you? Cryowl. No, it does not. Serve as you will, so too shall I. We labor not as cross purposes. The wisdom of his plans shall become apparent in time when the veil is lifted up from their eyes, and at last long they see. Kryl. Truly, there is no rest for the weary. Scarce had I begun to make myself at home when I received a request for assistance from the Amagina and Sons Mineral Concern. It would appear their storehouse in Horizon has been target of a series of convert robberies. Minor as they seemed in isolation, occasional discrepancies in the manifests were long dismissed as clerical errors. It was only during the concern's annual audit that a pattern became apparent. Significant quantities of crystals and only crystals were missing. I need hardly tell you what that may imply. The brass blades charged with investigating the thefts believe that someone with the concern is selling the crystals for profit. At last they have as yet been unable to identify a likely suspect. The concern's proprietors have grown frustrated by their lack of progress. Needless to say, I would not have agreed to intervene with the stolen goods been of merely monetary value. If there is even a possibility that the thief acts not out of self-interest but in service to a primal, we cannot ill afford to wait for the blades to realize their mistake. Pray depart for Horizon at your earliest convenience. Rendezvous with Y'shtola when you arrive. She and Thancred have already begun a preliminary investigation. I have every confidence that the three of you will get to the bottom of these thefts. I only hope our fears prove unfounded when you do. Okay. Okay. Where is she? Y'shtola. Ah, Elwyn, your assistance is most welcome. I have already spoke at length with the brass blades of the Rose, albeit to little avail. It would seem that the thieves took great pains to conceal their activities. I would go into further detail, but your time might be better spent in conversations with Lufa. He is the officer charged with leading the investigation. I would only be repeating in which he related to me. If aught eluded my attention, mayhap it will not elude yours. Okay, where is Fufalupa? Fufalupa, come here! Fufalupa, I missed you. I haven't seen you in so long. Look, I'm little like you now, Fufalupa. Elwyn, what a pleasure to see you again. Y'shtola said to expect you. Terrible business, these thefts. We have yet to confirm the quantity of crystals stolen, but I dare say it might be greater than... Y'shtola. Pronunciation 100% correct, though. I know. I think I heard it in a cutscene. This might be super nerdy, but the language in this game is very fascinating to me. Like, genuinely, I hope it's not coming off as snarky. I don't think you're coming off as snarky at all. But never mind. I have news to share. A short while ago, the driver of heavily laden carriage refused to halt for inspection and broke through one of our checkpoints on the Royal Allegan Sunway. The cart bolted off toward eastern Thanalin, where, thank the gods, I hear that our colleagues were able to apprehend them without further incident. A speeding carriage? That would seem a curious choice for thieves for such proven cunning. Yet the Amalja do have a foothold in eastern Thanalin. And what of their cargo? Did they carry the crystals we seek? We should be receiving a report any moment now, but I fail to see what else it could. Did you miss me, friends? I'm back, but I fear I come bearing disappointing news. Or on second thought, perhaps it's good news after all. Honestly, the pronunciation gets easier as more things get voice acted, but unfortunately only starts around Heavensward and Stormblood. Yeah, I'm very excited for there to be more voice acting. Tancred, wherever have you been off to? I figured you had everything under control here, so I took a brief excursion to the east to check up on our Almalja friends. And wouldn't you believe it, I happened upon a runway carriage on the way, and even was able to do my small part to help my friends in the Brass Blades intercept it. In all my years, I have never seen such a prodigious quantity of sumnus. The Blades were calling it one of the greatest hauls they've ever seen. The stolen crystals, on the other hand, were nowhere to be found. Oh, no. Is that so? Alas, I suppose we have no choice but to resume our search elsewhere. We should reassess our options as well. Come with us, Elwyn. Against all expectation, it would seem that the Amalja are innocent of this particular spate of crimes. By all indications, they have yet to replenish the stores of crystals exhausted during their last attempt to summon Ifrit. And what I can't fathom is why anyone else would go to such lengths to obtain crystals in such quantities. It cannot be that we are dealing with simple thieves. If their motive were profit, why would they limit their trade to crystals alone? Plainly, we are missing something. While you think about what it might be, I shall inform Urianger of our progress or lack thereof.
Now then.
He's talking! He's talking!
Tis I. The situation may be more complicated than we anticipated.
I get so excited when there's voice acting.
Indeed. I shall remain watchful. Ere thou goest, another matter requireth thine attention. A young maiden, full eager to...
He does have an accent. Full eager to...
inquirest thou of her fairness? Oh, very well. Be she damsel or devil, I shall direct her steps to Revenant's Toll. Save thine insinuations for one given to such impropriety. Thou shalt not find me amenable.
The voice acting scared the shit out of you because I wasn't expecting it. It's funny. He chills out a little bit on the English as things go on. I hope so, because I can't. I just can't. What is going on?
Far across the sea from the land of Domar have we traveled. We seek audience with the ruler of these lands. Who here speaks for you?
Oh? Okay, any bright ideas? A solitary flash of insight? No, well then, for want of better suggestion, I say we try picking Boofaloopa's brain again. Oh my god, that did not want to come out. Who knows, if we work together, we may yet find something of use nestled away within it. Boofaloopa, I'm here to talk to you. Oh, but it is good to see you return. I have given some thought to the matter, and I have just hit upon a most disturbing possibility. How could I have been so blind? Calm yourself, Lufa. What is this disturbing possibility of which you speak? I was contemplating as to how thieves' activities escaped our notice for so long, and then it came to me. What if someone among our own ranks conspiring with them, a traitor in our own midst? That it would be most unfortunate if your fears proved well-founded, Fufalupa. Indeed, if, for reasons of security, the concern decided to transfer the remaining crystals stored in Horizon to another location, their plans would be discovered the moment the brass blades were informed. Ah, but such shipment would surely be well guarded. Would thieves as wily as wily as ours, open confrontation? Mayhap not, but neither would the concern be eager to present them with such an obvious target. Nay, they might instead elect to carry out the transfer in secret, to entrust the goods to, let us say, a lone Mikote miner traveling without escort, so as not to attract undue attention. But who? Ah, I see. Yes, the concern may well elect to do that, but to travel with so much cargo would be a strenuous task indeed, and this miner would certainly need to rest upon the way, mayhap north of the bridge to Hammerley. A fine spot for rest, would you not agree, Elowen? You lie in wait to the north, and I shall do the same in the south. Forgive me, my friends. I have received new orders. I must inform my men at once. Call me cynic, but I would be surprised if these thieves lay down their arms and surrender. See that you've come prepared to offer some encouragement. Cynic. Yeah, I didn't know what that word meant. Okay. I'm not going to pronounce things correctly. We know this. We know this. We know this. Okay. Greetings from one D to another. Hi! I hope gaming goes well. If I had $1 for every other D I've met on Twitch, I'd probably have like 37 or something. Hi, D. Welcome in. I love meeting other Ds, actually. I love meeting other Ds. Satoru! Oh, there's another one. Okay. She's dressed all cute. Look at how she's dressed. Stubborn to the last as expected. You unharmed? A gang of sea-wolf thieves and in Thanala, no less? I suppose there's a first time for everything. Sea-wolves, all of them? Aye, and all with the same tastes in facial tattoos, blue, in case you were wondering. Our thieves are a long way from home. Thancred, if you would be so good as to attend to the outstanding matters in Horizon, I have inquiries to make. For Horizon, then Fufalupa will want to hear about your meeting with the thieves. Okay. Here it is. On behalf of the Brass Blades of the Rose, I thank you for your service to Horizon. But we have not been idle. While you were afield, we succeeded to identifying the traitor within our ranks. Is that so? Then by your leave, I shall very much like to have a word with the fellow in private. No, I'm afraid that will not be possible. Regrettably, he managed to subdue the unit of blades dispatched to detain him and made good his escape. He escaped. For the love of... How did he manage that exactly? Your men haven't been sampling the sumnus he confiscated, were they? Have they? Or was he a giant in disguise? No, but he was quite strong, a sea-wolf, Leminzen born and raised, I believe. But do not worry, we will find him. You have my word on that. I see. Pray keep me apprised of any developments. Yes, she's sitting next to me. Understood. I fear our time together is at end, my friend. Your services are required elsewhere. Awfully disappointing, I know. But one must follow where duty leads. You might try to look a little disappointed, or do you mean to give me another one of your stoic nods? You do, don't you? That's so stupid. That's so silly. Bam 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 bam. Bam 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 bam. You have to send a bid me tell you to make for Vesper Bay, where young Alphinaud awaits your coming most eagerly. It was he who requested your assistance. Some commotion or incident. I'm not privy to the details. While you do whatever it is that Alphinaud has planned for you, I shall endeavor to track down our traitorous Brass Blade, and when I do, you may rest assured that we will have our answers. Okay. You are late no matter. Wow! I hate this man. I know where our visitors are headed. From what I've been able to gather, this vessel belongs to a band of Domans who seek an audience of the Sultana. You're familiar with Doma, yes? In Arthur? Well, like the rest of the nation... Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Like the rest of the nations of the Eastern Continent, it is ruled by the Garlean Empire. Given our visitors' unannounced arrival, as well as the state of their ship, I suspect they did not leave their homeland under the best circumstances. Needless to say, I should be very interested to hear their tale, and more importantly, what they know of their current state of affairs in the Empire. Such information could prove most useful. I take 30 seconds to get from one place to another. I know. Sir, I'm trying my hardest. We would be fools to not pursue this opportunity, do you not think? Come with me to Olda, Eloin. Unless I'm mistaken, and I am rarely mistaken, we will find the Domans bickering with the Sultan's sword on the royal promenade. Alphinaud. He's the best boy. He really takes on his own as things go on. He's cool. Won't comment on the pronunciation. Oh my god. You are uncertain of your role in the proceedings. Insurance. If our guests are not themselves Imperial agents, it seems fair to assume that they may be pursued by some. And if not, who's better than you to have on hand if in the event of an unforeseen diplomatic incident? Besides, I do so enjoy your sparkling repartee. Satisfied? Good. I shall see you in Olda. Fine. I guess I'm going to Olda. Jesus. Jesus Christ. Jesus. You also need a third bar. Most classes need 3 bars to run. What do you mean? Like here? I do have it. You just can't see it. What? Oh. It matters not how many times you ask. Without the necessary permissions, none shall pass. Pray understand, good sir, we have not the leisure to lodge a formal petition. Time is of the essence. All I ask is that you summon your superior. Allow me to plead my case. Surely you can grant us a small kindness. Away with you, and darken these doors no longer. I will not ask you again. You know not what you do. Gives you 10, and eventually you can use them all. Thank God for shared bars. Yeah, I have all 3. You don't have points redeemed for bald? I don't. I thought I did. I thought I did. I guess I don't. I guess I don't. Why? Do you really, 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 really want to see me bald? Is that what you really want? Is this what you want? 7 head. How dare? How dare? This is what you want? What does this do? Oh, I can also be angry. And I can also blush, which I already kind of blush, but... And I can also cry. It's so sad. I gather your pleas fell upon deaf ears. A loyal man with a cold heart, I know his kind well. I hope that you will find me more to your liking. Alphanod at your service, a friend. Which makes me nearly unique, in this part of the world at least. Few indeed are your allies in Ul'dah. Oof, yeah, I know. Oh my god, is it not gonna work? It should work. Oh, how dare it not work? Hold on, it's gonna bother me. It's going to bother me. It is going to bother me. If I do not fix it right now at this very moment. It did work. It did. I don't know why it's not. Okay. This thing. There it goes. I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. I'm the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, huh? Aren't I? I'm so beautiful. Gorgeous. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. We're gonna stay like this for a little bit. It'll end in like a minute. Which I believe makes me very nearly unique in this part of the world, at least. You indeed are your allies in Ulda, yet you will need some if you wish to endeavor yourselves in the wealthy and powerful. Pray join me and my associate at the quicksand. There you may explain your situation to us, and we shall see if there is aught we can do to help. Adventurers Guild. Okay. If anyone was in this office right now, I would be promptly committed to the hospital for psychiatric stay because this is so funny. Oh my god. I look crazy. I look crazy right now. Also, we can do this. Okay. Give me a second. Let me get it. Let me get it. Let me get it. Let me cook. It is holding 140 IQ. You know it. Very rough brain in there. There is. There is very rough brain. No smooth brain in here. I just got on a break at work and I have so many questions. What is happening? On what was happening. Yeah, welcome to it. Welcome to it. I also have this. Aren't I beautiful? I'm beautiful. Huge and smooth. It is not smooth. It is not. I'm beautiful, okay? And my mustache is not crooked. You are. There was something changing colors on her head, and all I could think was bald. And that thing was groovin'. But that thing was groovin'. It was groovin'. Markiplier? Am I Markiplier? This is the deepest voice I can do. Oh my god, ew. I cannot do that again. Okay. Oh, I look stupid. I think I look more stupid, not bald. Okay, I'm normal now. I'm normal now. We're fine. Okay. Let's actually do this quest. I got so used to bald that I'm like, this is weird. We're normal now.
We have traveled some several thousand miles across the sea, from the nation of Doma, in hopes that we might find sanctuary in these lands.
She's talking!
Sanctuary, Lady Yugiri?
Normal head can't hold all them brains. We can't. The brain is back to being small. Small and smooth.
Aye. Lying within Othard, Doma was under the dominion of the Garlean Empire, as I'm sure you are aware. When the War of Succession broke out in Garlemald, we aspired an opportunity to free ourselves from the yoke of
Can't
imperial
hurt a smooth brain,
oppression
everything
and took
deflects.
up arms. Only to be crushed. And so I gathered what few Domans escaped the reckoning and guided them hither to your shores.
It's my greatest
A
defense.
war
It
of
really
succession.
is.
Then
guys are
the
jealous.
Emperor... Forgive me. You said that Doma was under Imperial rule, did you not?
Doma is gone. Razed to the ground as an example to the other provinces.
Ooh, that's not good.
12 have mercy.
Just don't
And
bring
your
up English
people.
skills. Okay? My English skills are not great. You wouldn't know that English was my first language. Spanish is my second, but I'm good at neither, so.
On a ship anchored in Vesper Bay, flying borrowed colors. Many were complicit in the rebellion, or akin to those who were.
You're very good
They
at
will not come
Spanish.
ashore until I send
I think
word
a
that it
Spanish
is safe
speaker
to do
would
so.
disagree with you. But because you are not a Spanish speaker, you're going to think that my Spanish is good. But a Spanish speaker would hear my Spanish and be like, wow, that is probably the worst Spanish I've ever heard over my life. I didn't hear what she said. They will not come ashore until I send word that is safe to do so. Okay.
I sought an audience with your rulers, but was summarily refused.
The lords of Ul'dah are
Sorry, I
not
tried.
wont to entertain foreign refugees without suitable encouragement.
Mayhap I was foolish to expect otherwise, but our supplies run low and we have young ones in urgent need of care. I have seen the tents outside the gates, however. We are not the first to seek asylum, nor will we be the last.
Be that as it may, Ul'dah is no friend to Garlemald. Your tale would stir the hearts of many men and women here. The Sultana
But
and the
Spanish
Syndicate
speakers
will
like
not
people
be
trying to
so
speak
easily
Spanish.
swayed.
They're cool about it. The
But
French,
I shall
however,
see
they were
that you are
mean.
granted an opportunity
Even
to
if someone-
plead your case.
Yeah, I've heard that the French are mean. So, like, that's like one country I would not want to go to because I've heard that they're mean. No, thank you.
This is within your power?
Well, far be it from me to boast, but I do have the ear of certain influential individuals.
I am in your debt.
Lady Yugiri, forgive me for observing, but your choice of attire seems like to evoke feelings of mistrust.
Men are wont to fear the unfamiliar. We know this from experience. We seek only to spare the people of Ul'dah unnecessary disquiet.
Oh?
I shall defer to your experience, then.
I thank you for your understanding.
Why is she covered head to toe?
It seems I have urgent business with the Flame General. I leave our guests in your capable hands.
Don't leave me with these people. If I may, madam, as I said earlier, we have been at sea for several moons, and our supplies are all but spent. I have not the heart to repeat the tales of our tribulations, nor would it please you to listen to them, I think. Suffice it to say, however, sacrifices have been made. Though it shames me to beg for more than you have already offered, so much desperation compels me. Good madam, if you or your associates could spare any provisions, anything at all, it would be It would go a long way to lessen the suffering of my people. Speak with Momodi. Isn't she here? Yeah. Why didn't you say it sooner, Elowen? Of course I'll help. You couldn't have picked a better day to tell the truth. A wealthy merchant and his entourage were due to have a banquet here on the morrow, see, but just sent word they can't come, meaning I've got a boatload of foodstuffs and no one to feed. Best of all, they paid for the lot in advance. Ha! Go and call on and Catherine at the Sapphire Avenue Exchange. Tell them I said to ship the little prince's order to the Wakened Sands. Oh, and if they argue, just tell them those letters. Just show them those letters. That should set them straight. Okay. Oh, where am I going? Where am I going? Okay, let's see. Over there. That's another route request. Mayhap you misheard her instructions? No, I did not. No, I did not. Here's the letter. You know, you shouldn't encourage them like this. They'll start to expect it. You mark my words. Shut up. Shut up. We can help people. She's in the business of feeding refugees now. I ain't normally one to question Mistress Modomi's judgment, Momodi's judgment, but that doesn't seem wise to me. I will not speak for the children, but if you ask me, any man that can't earn a crust deserves to go hungry. My God, these people are so mean. I hate them. They're so mean. Adventurers, right? Yeah. I mean, it's just like every country and like place doesn't like refugees. It's just like a thing. You can combine your bags into one window in the settings. But then it's like one big one, right? I didn't like that. They didn't give you any trouble, did they? Good. Go and tell Lady Yurgri. It's all in hand. Okay. Yuguri. I dared not hope for such magnanimity. I can't pronounce that word. Much less expect it. Mistress Momodi is generous indeed. I shall be sure to thank her most humbly. Just wait until you have hundreds of items in the chocobo saddlebags on top of it. I think maybe eventually I'll like it, but right now I don't want like a big one. I briefed the Flame General of your situation. I think you'll be pleased with his reply. Yes! We have been granted an audience? But the Sultana and the Syndicate both. We have to return to the Royal Promenade at once. You have done so much for us, Master Alphanod. I swear we shall return the favor. Naught is owed, for naught has been given. This small favor you fairly won with your words, and it is the words that you must win the favor of the Syndicate. I still use tabs for mine, but I keep my inventory clean. AKA I don't deal with crafting. Yeah, you see, eventually I definitely want to get into crafting, so. You will be accompanying us, yes? Good. Your presence may serve to remind the Syndicate of the true meaning of philanthropy, and that nothing so unpalatable, I don't know, will be required of them, assuming the Domans are willing to earn their keep. The Flame General, oh my God, there's a fly. The Flame General awaits us on the Royal Promenade. I'm a huge crafter. Use 75% of your bags and 3 retainers full of stuff, but it's worth it for the money. Yeah, I definitely want to get into crafting. Using scrubs is the fastest way to craft, but it's also not 100% legal. What does that mean? A pleasure, Elwyn. The others are already inside. Let's not keep them waiting. I have not gotten into crafting at all, so I know nothing about it. Which is crazy because I have 70 hours in this game and I have not touched literally anything.
Are you Giri of Domar?
It's crazy to think about.
Meet you at last, Your Grace. To mark this auspicious occasion, I should like to present to you the finest treasures our humble nation has to offer. Alas, the circumstances which have brought me here today have divested me of both time and dignity. I come before you as a pauper in direst need of aid, to request that you grant my people asylum.
I, Nanamo, 17th in the line of Ul, welcome you to our city. Be at ease, Lady Yugiri.
Yugiri.
Although I myself have heard the tale of your misfortune, I would ask that you recount it once more for the benefit of the others here present.
As you wish, Your Grace. For many years, my nation, Domar, suffered under the yoke of imperial rule, and my people yearned to be free. Thus,
You can make
when
macros
the
and then
War
use
of
third-party
Succession
software to
broke
loop the
out in
crafting
Garlemald,
cycle, but you can craft
we
hundreds of
sought
things
to
without
take
having to sit at your
advantage of the
computer and
chaos
click buttons.
reclaim
Oh, that's
our
awesome.
liberty. Alas, our enemy proved less preoccupied than we had hoped.
And then you just like
and
sell
our
them on the
rebellion
market or
was put
whatever.
down in the most brutal fashion.
Those who survived, how many do they number?
More than 200 souls huddle within the cramped confines of our own galleon's hold. Yet this figure accounts for but one of a number of ships which escaped the purge. It is my hope that you will allow us all to dwell within your walls. Should that prove unfeasible, however, I humbly ask that you accept as many of my people as your resources allow. Pray understand, we do not beg a boon, but propose instead an arrangement. We would serve as soldiers or tradesmen until our debt is repaid.
What are the Syndicate's opinions on this matter?
I, for one, think it's a marvelous idea. Lady Yugiri and her people
Yeah, you
strike
can
me as
craft
an industrious lot,
hundreds
and
of
there are parts of
things
the city which have yet to be
and sell them
fully
at high
restored.
prices.
If they are willing to work, I see no reason not to let
That's really cool.
The head of the Mirage Trust is not known for his generosity. He sees profit in this.
I agree. That said, these are foreign refugees. To admit them would require a formal resolution. Shall we call a vote?
What if they say
The
no?
law is the law.
But I don't do that because it's looked down upon. Yep. Sure you don't. It's okay.
Lord Lolorito?
Tell me, are you blind or willfully ignorant? Even now, our streets are choked with the displaced victims of the Calamity and Alamigan refugees. They live hand to mouth, subsisting on aid provided by the immortal flames, the cost of which grows ever higher.
Oh no.
The wealth of Ul'dah is not without limits, my friends. And need I remind you that these refugees are prone to violence and criminal activity? You have all read the reports, I think. Without homes or employment, it is only a matter of time before men grow desperate and take that which they imagine has been unjustly denied them. Yet, knowing this, you would have us swell their ranks. Mayhap you think the brass blades and the flames are not hard-pressed enough?
Okay.
Some say the chairman of the East Aldenard Trading Company passes Gil thrice daily. This may explain how he came to be the wealthiest man in Ul'dah. Or it may simply be that he's ruthless beyond reckoning.
Yeah, it's always... But they're violent. They're violent.
Surely the Sultanate can support the few hundred domins Lady Yugiri represents. That our resources have been taxed, I do not deny. But we are hardly in danger of financial collapse.
Small and evil.
I move that an exception be made.
An exception, Your Grace? I am suddenly reminded
All
of a
potatoes are
similar
evil.
debate
No,
some
they are
years
not.
ago, regarding a number of Alamigan refugees, if memory serves. What
So much
were
hate in a
your
little
words
body.
that day? Yes. The law is the law. And so our visitors remained in Little Alamigo. Mayhap our wise and benevolent Sultana would be so good as to enlighten us as to which other of our laws should not be upheld.
Mind your tongue, Lolorito.
My lord, I share your concern for the welfare of our great nation, but we must endeavor to take a longer view. You know as well as I that people can be a resource still more precious than Gil.
Precious or not, they were never yet so reliable. And unlike those who frequent your establishment, I have no desire to gamble with my future. Ul'dah's greatest asset is, and has ever been, her material wealth. We risk this at our peril. One need only look to Teleji Adeleji's example for evidence of the danger in allowing sentiment to dictate policy. How far the vaunted Mirage hath fallen, both in repute and profitability, since he began employing refugees.
I hate this man.
How I choose to conduct my affairs is not your concern, my lord.
A proposal has been tabled. Given its urgency, I move we forego further debate and call a vote. To accept the Doman refugees or not. Those in favor, I bid you remain. Those opposed, I bid you leave.
Okay. Only him? Oh. Well, shit.
Would that it were within my power to welcome you and your people, Lady Yugiri. As you have observed, however, my authority in such matters is regrettably limited. Without the consent of the Syndicate, I cannot act.
I understand, Your Grace, and I appreciate all that you have done on our behalf.
The nerve of the man! If that bastard had not forsaken the eastern trade route, little Alamigo would now be thriving. Oh, that you should have traveled so far under such dire circumstances, only to be refused in this manner is utterly unconscionable. Pray, accept my sincerest apologies.
You right, little mustache man.
Now that the Empire
Bastards.
no longer poses an immediate threat, they see little reason to maintain the pretense of unity. The Monitorists have grown especially defiant of late.
Bastards.
Lord Lolorito most of all. But this is neither the time nor place for that discussion.
Okay. Okay. As you observed, Dolorito is not afraid to speak his mind, nor is he like to change it. You go behind their backs, give them asylum, I know. Have I wondered how a man so skilled at weighing the worth of things could be so incapable of seeing the value in people, but I will not waste no more words on him, not when the Domans are yet in need of aid. Everyone, follow me to the Hall of Flames. Okay. I got very into this storyline. I was like, while I was listening to that, I was also making a thumbnail because I'm trying to upload a video to YouTube. Oh my god. Oop, I need to download it. Multitasking queen. I am. I'm trying to do it. Okay, the syndicate has spoken. I see no point in moving the matter be reconsidered. Moving that the matter be reconsidered. I made their positions clear. I agree Ulda is not an option. Nor are Limsa or Gardania, I judge, given the state of their internal affairs, which leaves our Doman friends confined into a ship. Gods, the thought of them huddled in an airless hold with no hopes of better treatment. Could that I had more time to find an alternative, a place not bound by concerns of the great nations. Minfilia, this is precisely what I wish to discuss. I understand the syndicate's decision. I do. We all wish to preserve that which is ours, especially when we believe it to be under siege. But I cannot meekly accept this judgment, not while my people suffer. Would it be out of question for the Sultanate to accept us for a limited time? A week, mayhap, or even just a few days? Excellent. I shall keep you informed. I have a proposal if you would hear it. Out with it, Master Alphanod. The headquarters of my order, the Scions of Seven Dawns, stand in a place called Revenant's Toll, an outpost of Mordona. Like most outposts, it is frequented by mercenaries and other men of action, and lacks the comforts of more well-established settlements. However, the leaders of Revenant's Toll have been doing their utmost to change that. To that end, we have need of able-bodied individuals willing to work on as frontier hands, hard labor, lest you doubt, with naught save food and shelter by way of reward. Terms not unlike those which you have yourself proposed. Though I will not hear a word said against our beloved Ulda, Revenant's Toll could offer a certain advantages, the absence of unhelpful bureaucracy being the most obvious. If they can accommodate us all, we shall gladly accept. Master Alphanod, once again I find myself in your debt. Pray do not thank me, my lady. The life your people go to is one of hard labor and few comforts, as I told you. And before that, there remains the matter of how they may safely be borne to Revenant's Toll, which will be no small feat, considering the distance and their present condition. Mayhap the Olden Adventurers Guild can be of assistance. Look for me there, Anne and Elowen. If you and your people could accompany me, we may discuss what aid the immortal flames can provide. Okay. We have to go back to the Adventurers Guild. Okay. I am hungry. Okay, we are concerned that the Doman's refugees may find the journey to Revenant's Toll too much to bear, too long as they have been aboard their ship with insufficient supplies and scarce room enough to breathe, let alone stretch their limbs. With that in mind, Mistress Mimodi has kindly offered to accommodate the Domans until such time as they are ready to set out for Mordona. Those healthy enough to travel will embark as soon as transportation has been secured, while those too weak to leave at once will be permitted to stay until they regain their strength. That's really nice of them. Look at her. She's so cute. What news? Transportation remains our greatest obstacle, General. Is there aught the Immortal Flames can do? I fear that exceeds our mandate. Were it a smaller number, mayhap, it will go unnoticed. I am up early. I mean, oh my god. You're up early, play. Yes. I'm up early, but I'm also early play. Like, early in the game. Best company. I chose the one in Gridania. Twin Adder, I think. But the Syndicate will not bear the cost of escorting more than 200 Domans to Mordana. When government fails to act, the responsibility falls to us private citizens. I will engage the services of the 77 caravans of the Doman's behalf. You chose Immortal Flames because the Noma was too cute. She is. I chose whatever Gridania is because I really liked what she had to say. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. After all that has befallen these good people, it is the least that I can do. Come what may, you shall ever have a friend in Ulda, lady, your Ygri. And you in Revenant's Toll, my lord. I chose solely how fast it was to get to company barracks from the main Aetheryte, and it's the fastest from Ulda. That is true. That is true. Well, it sounds like we have work to do. Let's put our heads together and settle the details of our arrangement, shall we? Okay. I would entrust the task of escorting our Doman friends to you after you have rested your own weary legs, of course. What do you say? What say you? What do you say to me? As we speak, the Domans prepare for departure at Vesper Bay, wherefrom they will be transported by carriage to Ulda. In Ulda? That said, this has all been decided rather suddenly, and it would not surprise me if the refugees required some assistance in coordinating their preparations. Elwyn, I would have you to return to Vesper Bay and facilitate the process through tasks great and small. In short, whatever must need to be done, do it. Speak with a man named Hosen when you arrive. As Lady Yurigiri tells it, he has been designated leader of the first group. Okay, so we need to go to Vesper Bay again. You know, I thought that moving headquarters was gonna be like me never going to Vesper Bay ever again, and I'm still fucking going to Vesper Bay. I'm still ending up in Vesper Bay. Okay, I'm actually going to end stream here, and because I'm starving. It's gonna be a short stream today. Well, an hour shorter. An hour shorter. I'm starving and I don't want ads to play. So okay. We're gonna go to this person. They're also starting their first playthrough. Post Heavensward. Okay. I'm gonna put raid messages in. The first one is for followers. The second one is for subscribers. I appreciate you guys so much. I should be live again tomorrow morning at the same time, playing the same game. So I'll see you tomorrow. But if I don't, I hope you guys have an amazing week. Let's go ahead and read out. Bye.